Hello out there in YouTube land. Today we're doing a tobacco review. Now my tobacco reviews are usually called one puff reviews. I can't quite use that one this time, although I almost could. Also, my one puff reviews are kind of on hiatus. In fact, tobacco reviews in general are on hiatus for a while. I'm still going to do pipe videos. I've watched quite a few pipe videos lately, and I just sort of, after a while, they all begin to look alike, and I begin to feel like, why am I doing this? Why am I just adding more of the same? So until I figure a way to distinguish them, if that's what's going to happen, they're on hiatus. Maybe forever, maybe temporarily, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I will still be making pipe related videos. Up today is Dunhill Standard mixture. Now, have I had this before or haven't I? Well, not an easy question, even though it seems like it should be. I think I need to give you my. I'm gonna just to before I break this tin open. In order to break this tin open, I'm going to give you my whole life story as a pipe smoker. Started when I was, I guess, 18, 19, and I was American, so I had the only tobacco I had any exposure to as an audience, as a spectator, were heavy Cavendish blends. First blend I picked up was Captain Black, not because it was Cavendish, but because I didn't know what the hell else to buy. And later, when I found out Tinderbox, when I discovered the Tinderbox, and no matter where you lived in the States, you had one that was near you back then, anyway. When I discovered that, I distinctly remember the first tobacco that I got from them was called, and this would be totally unthinkable for me now, but it was called Chocolate Covered Cherry. And and then every time I went back there, I kept choosing different ones, and then until one day I think it was Sherlock's Choice. And Sherlock's Choice, I just assumed it was going to be an aromatic. I mean, at that time, I didn't even know there was such a thing as non-aromatics. Although I think I probably had Virginia number 1 by McBaron's. I think the tin design was very different back then. And I didn't like it because it reminded me too much of cigarettes. I didn't hate it, but it's just a little bit too cigarette-y for me. I actually have an old pouch that has been stored away. I may be slightly off screen. No, actually not. But I'm a little bit obscured. It's not Sherlock's Choice. It's just something that never got thrown away. Tinderbox, 2 ounces, almost all which is gone, of Philosopher. It was basically finished. I probably bought more of it, and this even though there's still not fair if I could probably a small bowl, which I'm not going to do. Anyway, Sherlock's Choice was my first Latakia blend, and I thought, oh my god, this stuff is. I mean, I remember I ordered it. I asked him for 2 ounces of Sherlock's Choice. I went to the car, and as soon as I got in the car, I just opened it up like, oh, what kind of is this one going to smell like? And it was my first time experiencing Latakia, and I thought there must be something wrong with it because it was just absolutely horrible. Did it go bad? I was honestly tempted to go back to the Tinderbox and say, hey, you sold me something that went bad. And I don't know, I was probably just too shy to do that, so I didn't. But and then I think the next one was this one, Philosopher. And then, oh my god, it's that same horrible smell again. Do people actually like this? I can't believe how could anybody like this stuff? And I smoked it and I didn't like it, but I kept smoking it because I figured there's got to be something here that I'm just not seeing. This tastes so absolutely horrible. I can't believe that nobody would. I can't believe that anybody would actually like this. So I must be missing something. And eventually I started liking it a lot and started preferring it. I mean, it was an acquired taste for me, but yeah, it was a very good acquired taste. And now it's something that I need to have some Latakia blend in my rotation all the time because I just love it. So anyway, Dunhill, my mixture 965 was eventually when I settled on one blend, it was pretty much that one. But I'm not the kind of person who settles on just one blend. I want to have some variety in there. So I went not too far different really. London mixture. So I would often alternate my 965 and London mixture. I mean, they're very different blends, but considering where I had come from with the gooey Cavendish Latakia hating young me to this, they were not that much different. And I think at one point I was like 965 London mixture, 965 Elizabethan mixture, and I just kind of rotate through that. And of course, sometimes I would try something new. And I mean, back then, like, we never really had new tobacco. I don't think we had tobacco we never tried before. But in terms of, I mean, I don't think we really had new. I don't think we ever got excited about having new tobacco. I don't ever remember that happening. I'm sure it must have happened sometimes. Maybe I wasn't aware that it was new, but it's just a matter of, I'll say that, cut. Anyway, although I had tried most of the Dunhills one day, and this may have been, there used to be a Dunhill store on, I'm going to call it the mezzanine level of Water Tower Place in Chicago. And they had a 12, so this is in the Murray's years. There were 12 Dunhill blends at that time. I mean, if you wanted 13, you were out of luck. These were the 12. To me, these are the classic 12. And I realized that there were older blends before they came back, but in my mind, those are the 12 classic tins. And you could buy a sampler. So when I was at the Dunhill store, I'm pretty sure that's where it was. I saw this Dunhill sampler. I had tried most of them at that point, but I thought, well, it would be kind of a neat collectible thing. I have no idea where it is now. It's probably long gone. But it had 12 tins, and the tins, so this, taking this off my camera, this is a lens cap from my camera. There were 12 tins about this size, and thicker than that. Not as thick as that. You could 2, 3 pipes, if you had small ones. If you had a big pipe, you'd probably have a little bit more than one. You'd probably have like one. You had a really nice big pipe. You'd probably have one bowl and change. But it had the 12 blends. I don't think I can name them all right now. But to my knowledge, that is the only time I've ever had Dunhill standard mixture. Now, 2 things to bear in mind. That was Murray's. It is different. I mean, I can't say this one is different, but I mean, compared to the other Murray's I've had, compared to Dunhill, I haven't had any of the Petersons yet. Compared to the post-Murray Dunhill and the Murray Dunhill, of the blends that I've tried, there was a huge difference. So huge that I haven't always wanted to try the other ones. I have a whole bunch of these, so I guess they're pre-Petersons. Orlick, TSG, STG. And it just, based on my experience with the ones that I did have, I just haven't had any particular desire to rush ahead and into these. So I have quite a few of them that they've just kind of sat on my shelf for several years now. I dated this recently, and I forgot what it was. It was a few weeks ago. I was gonna make this video a few weeks ago, and I didn't. It's not 5 years, maybe. Got about 5 years on it. Yeah, actually, it is 5 years if I remember how to read the date correctly. So it's got 5 years on it. So I mean, that's not bad, right? But so A, it was Murray's, but B, there were 2 standard mixtures back then, right? There was a standard mixture light, and there was a standard mixture. I don't remember what it was called. It was something else. Standard mixture light, and it wasn't heavy. I don't think. Standard mixture full, maybe. And those little tins were the only time I've ever tried a standard mixture. Not because I didn't like them in Murray's Day, just because I like London. I thought London mixture was kind of along the same lines, but better. So I just kind of stayed with that. And I didn't see much need to, the title just sort of seems always kind of bland, right? Yeah, it's just a standard. And I thought London mixture was better than standard. So nothing against it. I just never. So the first time I actually bought a tin was like well after the Murray years were over. So that's my backstory on this. And I think now we're ready to open this, and now you know where I'm coming from. So is it a one puff review? Well, I technically have had this before, and yet I haven't, because it was a different blender that tastes different, and that was standard mixture light and standard mixture full or whatever it was. So I haven't actually had this one. I'm also not very optimistic about it based on the other Scandinavian tobacco group ones I've had. Sorry, just damn it, I thought my pipe was ready. I fluffed out the tobacco, but I didn't clean it. And I don't have a pipe cleaner within reach, which I usually do have one around here. So give me a minute. Okay, we're all set now. This is going in my newest pipe. It is a Yakono Pawn. I think it's a Pawn E, isn't it? It's a Pawn E. I had it for about 3 weeks now. Love it a lot. Just love everything about it. The shape. It's I did a pipe. I did a box opening video, but it was very rushed because I had class in 5 minutes and I couldn't wait. And I should have waited because it was just not a very good video, so I'm not going to post that one. It's a shape that I usually associate with the kings and the queens, not with pawns at all. And I quite like it. Like the marbled stem. It's this part in particular that I really like, because this is just, I'm just not a huge fan of, and I have plenty of them, but I'm not a huge fan of, and I said this before, when the shank and the stem are just a flush design. Don't hate it, but I love when there's something happening there, like here. There's a major transition between the pipe, the stem, the shank, and the stem. So anyway, this is a tobacco that I'm pretty sure most people watching this will have tried, unless you're like really brand new pipe smokers. Again, I was a huge Dunhill. That was my go-to tobacco. Was always Dunhill. Just did I get it? I got it. Smells good already. Smells very Virginia-y. I got instantly I got Virginia and Latakia already. I haven't even taken the paper out. This bucket. Paper looks a bit stained. You got some tobacco stains on it already, which I've always taken as a good sign, actually. Yep. So it just smells a bit weaker. It doesn't smell bad. I'm getting there must be some, there was a description of this one. A balanced blend of Virginia and Turkish tobaccos. So it's funny they don't even say, and this goes back to my fairly recent video about then and now, why our tin description is so much longer now. It doesn't even say Latakia on it. That's just subsumed under Turkish. It does kind of bring back some kind of memories, though, and I don't mean memories of that particular tin. I mean just something that's been missing from my rotation, which could be London mixture itself. Smells good, actually. A little weak. And by weak, I mean I should probably say mild. Mild would be less judgmental. All right. And if you hear some background noise, yeah, my fan is on, and I started to make a video with the fan off, and no, I was just I need the fan or the air conditioner. I need something on. Okay, if you're watching how I pack the pipe, don't. I don't. I do not follow any particular method. Now, I recently now believe it or not, smoking a pipe for 33 years, my first Zippo, and yeah, it's a pipe one. It's got the pipe insert. I don't know why. I just always preferred butane, and I still do. I mean, yes, I do taste the difference, but only for a few puffs. In fact, you know what? I should probably just talk myself out of using it, at least right away. I have had bad luck with permanent or semi-permanent lighters, butane lighters, especially. I mean, back in those days when I was smoking Dunhills, I had I had like this cheap, and I had two versions of it. It was just a cheap butane lighter. It was perfect. It was $8.99. I remember that. You didn't. I do not understand why you need a screwdriver to. Why can't they just put a knob there? And that's what it was. It had a little knob at the bottom. It was clear. You could see how much butane was in there. It had, it came out at the right angle. It was flint, but the flint holder on the bottom, it held it held a spare flint. But that was always cool. And I mean, those are long gone, but they were nice. They were really nice. But I've been spoiled by those two cheap ones, and just found my Petersons. I'm going to try and fix that one up, and then it seems a little stuck. All right, I was looking for it for a few weeks actually because it hadn't worked. I don't remember about why it doesn't work. Why it didn't work, but I just I found it. It was in a drawer at home, and the biggest problem was that I couldn't. So it was like, oh, it must be the flint that is stuck. So I opened the flint chamber, and the flint fell out, bounced around, never to be found again. And I don't have any spare flints at the moment. I've ordered some. Which maybe something's arriving today. Might be that. I'm talking a lot without lighting this up. Yeah, even on pre-light, I'm getting, it's a very Virginia-y lat blend. In fact, I'm a little bit put off by how light it is in the Latakia apartment, without having smoked it, which is a bit unfair. So let's light it up. But that's probably why I went with 965 and London mixture. Okay. That was our charring light. And after all that, I didn't bring a tamper with me. Yes, I did. Okay. That is a bit, and this is the goofy lighter that comes out really high. If somebody could tell me what this is in terms of Murray's years, is it the standard mixture light, or is it the standard mixture full, or is it a new animal altogether? I would like to know that. I looked a little bit online, but I didn't research it carefully, but I couldn't find that out. I mean, I tried researching it, but all I found were stores that were selling it, basically, or tobaccoreviews.com, or people who love it, but they didn't smoke the berries version. So I don't know what this is, if it's standard mixture, full, mild, or a hybrid, or what. So if you know, I'd appreciate you telling me that in the comments. Okay, so I'm kind of getting the same thing that I get from post Murray's Dunhills in general, which is it just seems lighter than I think it. It seems lighter than I think it should, or in some cases, it's just lighter than I remember, and more. What's the word I want? Plain. It just every time, and I mean, again, I don't remember. My memory of what this tastes like is non-existent, based on like 1 or 2 pipes in the 80s. It's not based on memory. I'm not, in this case. Now, I could smoke 965 and the other ones, and I could say this, but I would say the same thing. It's just lacking something. And that may be based on a memory of Dunhill in general, not on this blend specifically. Yeah, I think I'm kind of remembering why I never went back to the standard mixture. And that's because the standard mixture was just a little bit too mild for my tastes. And I think Murray's London mixture, and that's been replaced by GOP's, in my book, replaced by GOP's Westminster, but also GOP's Samara, which is a different blend, but it has Perique in it, which London mixture doesn't, but it just works better for me. It works it's in that same general category, Samara and London mixture. I like them both very much. Of what I would consider to be not Balkans, but just sort of a stately English. And that's something that I think I need to be having in my rotation more often. I think I'm at the point now where sort of like, well, yeah, I mean, okay, I actually didn't tell you my full backstory. So that's how I was. I was alternating between a few Dunhills and, okay, 965 and London mixture, occasionally with Elizabethan mixture in there, occasionally with something else that I would try just to try something new, until I came to Korea. When I came to Korea, I couldn't buy pipe tobacco here. There was one place, I told this story before, it was near the Army base, the U.S. Army base, and they had some, not Dunhill, was Davidoff, extremely expensive. A tin this size of Davidoff would be $37 US. And I had to pay it sometimes because I had to no choice. One time I tried ordering from Even Reese, and the package never got to me. And I contacted them. They sent the replacement, never got to me. So I'm just like, okay, twice bitten, 3 times shy now. I can't order tobacco here. And then later, when my friend Harvey, who used to have a YouTube channel, some of you may know him from that, when Harvey got into pipe smoking, he ordered all these kinds of tobacco. I'm like, how did you get it? I just ordered it internationally. I'm like, that works? Yeah. And from then on, I've been ordering tobacco internationally, and I've had no problem whatsoever. But that was about 10 years into my life in Korea. So there were about 10 years where I was still a pipe smoker, but I wasn't smoking the tobacco that would want to be smoking. And that's the point when Murray's stopped producing Dunhill. So when I was finally able to resume smoking, ordering tobacco internationally, Dunhill was not an option then. But C&D had emerged and GLP had emerged. And, and they have become, and GLP in particular, Westminster and the others have definitely become. GLP to me now is what Dunhill was back then. Like if I only had to smoke one blender, that would be them. GLP. It has more Virginia than I was expecting, but I was reading where Greg Peace said that, London mixture is very light on Virginia. It's good. I mean, I can't fault it for anything except just not being as strong as I would like it to be. In the Latakia department and in the General Turkish Oriental department. Okay, so the Virginias are here. They're stronger than I expected, and I need to focus on that because that's what this blend is. It's a Virginia Turkish blend. It's not bad. I just feel, this is one of my acid tests that I've mentioned in other reviews before. I could go to work, typing the paper, smoking this, and totally forget what I'm smoking. And that's not something that I like. I first of all, I think it's kind of rude to the blender to not be paying attention to what you're smoking, but that's overly generous of me. Just something, and I should add, this pipe is not completely broken in yet, and that may contribute to something. I have put many different kinds of tobaccos in this pipe, but it is only 3 weeks old. It's just a hint of a cake starting to form. There is something a little chemically, but I'm wondering if that's just the pipe not being broken in yet. Not really chemically, it's just... But I do think another pipe, the right pipe, might bring out the things that I like a little bit more. And this one may in the future. It's not bad. I just wish it had a little bit more punch to it. And you know what? 33 years of pipe smoking, cannot retrohale. And I never tried until recently. I've only recently started trying it. But I haven't done it yet. It's like learning to blow bubbles or bend notes, bend your blue notes on a harmonica. It's just something that you just keep trying it until you can. And it's like an either or. Like suddenly you go from I can't do it to, oh no, I can do it. There's no in between in those things. I am kind of hoping someone says this is the light mixture because it's pretty light. I don't have much else to say. It's enjoyable enough. I only fault it for not being what I want it to be, which is stronger. Stronger as in more flavorful, have more Latakia, more Orientals. And although I like Virginia, maybe even the less Virginia, I could see where that would help highlight the other tastes more. It has more Virginia than I expected it would. It's not bad. I just feel something's missing whenever I smoke one of these STG Dunhills. And I thought that was just comparing my memory of their 965 to Murray's 965, but even here where I have no memory to speak of, I still feel it's just missing some kind of spark. And I like their other tobaccos. I mean, I like Orlick. I like other things that they make. It's just somehow with the Dunhill, it just doesn't recapture that magic that I had when I smoked it when I was still practically a teenager. In 1920, whatever, however old I was then. Yeah, probably a little older, probably 22, 23 at that point. I don't know what else to say. It's good. It just doesn't, I'm not wowed by it. But at the same time, it's called standard mixture. It You know, it's not the wow mixture. It's not, you know, I mean, so I get the feeling it's not supposed to wow me, and that's perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay that there's a tobacco that is just aiming to be an all-day smoke. It's just not it for me. I just want a little more. I want a little more oomph to it, and I'm not quite getting it. The Virginias are pretty good, though. In fact, I think it's been a while since I've had a blend that was English with this much Virginia noticeable to me. And in that sense, it does kind of bring back some memories of me. It's been a long time since I had such a blend. I can't even think of one. Presbyterian, that was years ago. Time to end this. I think it's already a pretty long video. I'm going to edit it down a little bit, but not too much. You know, it's not bad. And I think Presbyterian is not a bad comparison. But at the end of the day, that's my best review. The best thing I can say about it is that, hey, you know, it's not bad. I don't know. I wanted to like it more. I was hoping this would be a more interesting review, but at the end of the day, and it's again based only on one bowl and a pipe that is still being broken in, so maybe I'm at fault there for the choices I made there. But at the end of the day, hey, it's not bad. It's roughly 24 hours later. I'm on bowl number 5 of this. I've actually come to appreciate it a little bit. It's still not, whether I'd actually buy it again, I don't know, because I think there are genres and blends that I just prefer more. But I think, and this doesn't say anything that I didn't say in the previous day's recording, but I think if you think of it as a Virginia forward English blend, I think that kind of gives you a handle into what it is. I definitely prefer a more Latakia heavy and Oriental forward one, which is why I'm not particularly planning on buying this one again. But it's one I think I'm going to enjoy as long as I do have it. When it's gone, it's gone, and I may have another tin, although I don't think so. But you know, it'll be time to. You know, it gives me hope for some of the other tins that I have, the other old Dunhill tins that I have sitting on the shelf, the other old post Murray's Dunhill tins there, because there are quite a few that are. There's a handful of them sitting on my shelf, including London Mixture, which is and 965, which, as I said, were my favorite ones in the Murray era. Less so now. This gives me a little hope that maybe age has helped them a little bit. Enjoying this one. It's and this is an Ascorti 1989. Yes, 1989 special edition Christmas 1989 pipe. It is a pretty forward for them. Bent billiard. I'm not a big billiard guy, although I always did like their New Deer finish. My tobacco was giving you the finger. I'm sorry about that. Time to give it a tamping. You do that again, you're going to get a good tapping. I've tried it in different pipes, and I think the pipe that I chose, maybe because it was still being broken in, although it's pretty far along in the breaking in process, I put it in some of the pipes that I have dedicated to Latakia. And it can emphasize the lack of Latakia in a way, because I'm used to having a stronger lat taste when I smoke those pipes. Nonetheless, it did bring out some more flavors that I wasn't getting in the original one. Now, I should say, I have said this before in past videos, but I don't expect everybody to have seen all my past videos and remember them. I do not decide. I do not buy a new pipe and say, "Oh, this one's going to be dedicated to Latakia," or "This one's going to be dedicated to Virginia Flakes." What I do is when I get a new pipe, I just smoke whatever I want in it, I'm aware of things that might ghost it. I probably wouldn't put a Lakeland in there or something, but um, I just smoke various tobaccos in it, and what often but not always happens is that sometimes I just get a really good experience. Like you know how it feels when it just everything just comes together and like, oh man, this bowl is so good. Even though you're smoking a pipe you smoked many times before, you're smoking a tobacco every time you smoked many times before, but suddenly it just comes together, and when that happens, then from now on this pipe is going to be dedicated to something, whatever. I don't dedicate to blends usually, but I dedicate to to genres. Um, so, yeah, enjoying this one. This pipe is actually not dedicated to anything, um, and sometimes that never happens. Sometimes the pipe is just it's a good workman pipe. It does the job. It just never gets dedicated to anything. I have many pipes, old ones. Oh, there's an '89. Not dedicated to anything. That happens. I think earlier on in my career, I must have had quite a few Virginia forward Englishes. And then somewhere along the line, stopped. I just settled on different things, and I settled on things that were a little bit more Latakia forward. Smoking this kind of brings back memories of my earlier days exploring English tobaccos before I settled on a certain way of things. It's not bad. It's slightly nostalgic and not bad at all. Still don't think something I'm going to order again. Now, if I were in a store somewhere in Korea where I have, where they may have only 5 blends and I saw this one, yeah, I probably would pick it up in that case. But if I'm ordering from Four Noggins or SmokingPipes.com, and there's a world of tobacco that this one would never get on my radar. Nonetheless, it's enjoyable, and my assessment has definitely gone up since yesterday. Let's see what the next Coven says. Very short shot here. Handheld. I'm smoking this in, for the first time since the first time, the pipe that I used the first time. And yeah, it's definitely a weaker experience. I think it's just a matter of not being broken in, completely broken in yet. It's coming off as much more milder. I mean, it's a mild tobacco no matter what, but it's coming across as much milder and less pleasant than it is in other pipes. So one thing we're finding here is, we know that pipes make a difference. It seems to be a more drastic effect with this particular tobacco, probably because it is so mild. Okay, pardon the handheldness. Smoking it now in my Yakono Church Warden. This is a pipe that's been pretty tricky, whereas every Yakono that I have, I've just taken to right away. And this one took a while. Maybe, I guess it was just a breaking in, or it's just very moody with certain tobaccos. It's working well in this one, which is good to know, because I think part of the reason is I just needed to find the right match for this pipe. I get even less Latakia in this pipe, which should be a bad point, but somehow it's still enjoyable. And that could just be a breaking in thing. This pipe is not completely broken in yet. I get a very unified taste in here. It almost comes across as a Virginia with other stuff added. Other stuff happens to be the Turkish and the Latakia. Enjoyable. Nonetheless, my overall opinion has not changed significantly. It's a blend that I'm kind of enjoying, but not a blend I see myself buying again. Okay, so I'm getting to the point where the tin, there's a few more bowls left, but it's winding down. And I can't say I've changed my opinion to any appreciable degree. It's not bad. I just it doesn't wow me in any way. And I know a lot of tobaccos are not meant to wow you, and they're just sort of textbook, and they're good at that. No, this is not my standard. Murray's London mixture, that would be my standard. Now GLP's Westminster would be my standard. It's just too light in the Latakia department. The Virginias are, it's almost like a Virginia blend with just enough Oriental and Latakia to make it not a Virginia blend, but not enough to really, it's just not an English to me. I know technically it qualifies as an English. It's just, it's too light. It's now I'm really curious about the two back in the 80s that I had, like, on, one or two occasions, the light, whatever it was, the standard mixture light and the standard mixture full, or whatever it was. I'm more interested in those, but let's be honest, I'm more interested in the old London mixture, or in something that's got a little bit more meat to it. So this is not the last you'll see of me. I'm sure there'll be at least one more Kevin coming along, but yeah, it just doesn't, something's missing. Character is missing, that extra oomph, and I don't like Latakia bombs. Like, whenever you see a blend that the tin description gives you an actual percentage of how much Latakia is in there, I don't like that. I don't want to be bombed by Latakia. I want to enjoy the Latakia. I want, there's a sweet spot between, just right, and, well, no, there's a sweet spot between too little and too much. And even though I love Latakia, I don't want too much. I can smoke it, but yeah. There's a sweet spot, and this is too low. This is below my sweet spot threshold. Nothing wrong with it, other than just not enough of the good stuff. You may like it. You may like it more than I do, but it's just too mellow for me.